do a nice relaxing kind of beginner stretch. So hopefully this will appeal to all different levels. Obviously if you're at advanced kind of level, you can still do this and should be more of like a gentle relaxing stretch. But here you guys enjoy, please subscribe to the channel if you're not already, give this video a thumbs up and let's get on with the stretch. Standing nice and tall, we're going to start with looking the head to the right hand side and then the left hand side. Then looking upwards and bringing the head and looking down. Then we're going to go into some shoulder shrugs, so lifting the shoulders all the way to your ears and circling backwards. And then we're going to circle forwards. And we're going to move on to arm circles, so arms are going to be circling backwards. And then we're going to do 5 circles with the arms going forwards. Then we're going to do one arm one way, one arm the other way like a windmill. These are a little bit more tricky, but we'll just do 5 on each side. Don't worry too much if you can't do these ones. Then we're going to go into hip circles. So we're going to push the hips to the front of the room, circling them round, pushing to the back of the room, and we just do 3 to 5 circles on each side. Arms are going to come out to the side, feet should be a little bit wider than shoulder width, and we just bring the body to the side. Make sure you're kind of staying sideways on. Then we're going to reach the hand to the wall in front of us, flattening down the back, keeping both legs straight. We're going to reach the chest down to the leg, grabbing the ankles if you can. Try and again keep both legs straight. Then we're going to reach through the middle. If you need to go a little bit wider on the straddle to make it a bit easier for yourself, you can do that. Don't worry too much if your hands aren't all the way down to the ground. Then we're coming to the other leg. So again, try and keep the legs as straight as you can. Obviously, if you are a beginner, you're quite tight. Don't worry if there's a slight bend in the knee. Reaching the hand to the wall, flattening down the back. Then reaching the hands to the side and finally reaching over. So imagine in this position you've got a wall in front and behind you and you can't touch that wall. We're going to reach the arms up to the ceiling, bring the legs together, and we're going to go into a pike fold. We're actually going to link the hands and try and let gravity pull us down to the ground to begin with. In this position you want to try and keep the weight through the front of the feet and again trying to keep the legs as straight as you can. So you should feel it stretching behind the hamstrings, maybe behind the knees, maybe a little bit in the calves. Now you're going to try and reach behind the backs of the ankles and pull your chest into the legs. Again, don't worry if you're not too flexible in this position, if your legs are currently bent, just try and feel a bit of a stretch while you're in this position and try and relax into that stretch. Coming out of that position, we're just going to walk the hands forwards, take a step back with the feet, and we're going to come into a downward dog. So in this position, we're focusing on pressing the armpits kind of to the wall behind us. And you can do a little shuffle from one side to the other with the feet. You should be able to feel it stretching a little bit in the calves, maybe again in the hamstrings. And then we're going to drop down to the knees. Next, we're going to come into a shoulder stretch. So hands are facing forwards, the elbows are going to be bent, and you're going to bring the body away from the arms of the shoulders. So you should feel it stretching the front of the shoulders. You want to make sure the hands are facing towards you and there's a bend in the elbows. If you can't feel the stretching, move the body a little bit further forwards, bend the elbows a little bit more. Then we're going to change the direction of the hands. So the hands are going to be facing behind you. The arms are going to stay straight in this position. If you want a bit more of a stretch, try and bring the hands a bit closer together and then move the body forwards. So each of these shoulder stretches, you want to aim for around 15 to 30 seconds. Coming out of that position, and we're just going to go into an arm swing. Get a bit of stretch in the chest as you're bringing the arms across. Now we're going to go into a tricep stretch, so one arm is up and above the head, we're pressing down the elbow, and then we're going to change to the other arm. So hold each of these stretches for around 15 to 30 seconds. Coming out of that position, we're actually going to go into a one leg straddle stretch. The other leg is going to be bent in towards the thigh, and you can flex the foot for a bit more of a stretch. Try and lower the chest all the way down if you are flexible. If not, then just have the hands closer to the kind of like hip area, and you should feel that stretching. Coming out of that position, we're going to change to the other side. Foot is coming to the thigh, flexing the foot with the legs straight, and then if you can, bringing the chest down towards that front leg. We're going to come out of that position, and next we're going to go into a pike fold. So we're bringing the arms all the way down the legs. Again, depending on how flexible you are, your hands could be closer to your hips or they could be closer to your feet. If they are closer to your feet and you are quite flexible, then you can flex the feet. Again, you want to keep the legs as straight as you can. If you want to, you could also put the feet against the wall and keep them flexed up against the wall, and you're going to get a little bit more of a stretch in that position. Just be careful trying not to lean out of the stretch, because if you aren't that flexible, it's quite easy to kind of be going backwards instead of forwards. Coming out of that position, we're going to go into a pigeon position. So the back hip is pushed down to the ground. The front leg is going to be a right angle. So as you can see, pushing the back hip down to the ground. Front leg is a right angle, and then you're going to, if you want to, lower the chest down towards the ground. Again, if you can feel the stretch without lowering the chest, then just hold that position and try and ease into the stretch. I actually like to hold this stretch a little bit longer. You could hold it up to a minute, you could hold it even 2 minutes. I know it's a popular yoga position, but just make sure you're holding for at least 30 seconds, trying to relax into that stretch, probably feeling it stretching the outer glute of the leg bent. So we're going to change to the other leg, make sure that hip is staying pressed down to the ground, and then you've got the option to lower the chest down to the ground. So you're most likely to feel the stretch in the back hip flexor or quad, and also the outer glute of the leg that's bent. Last couple of seconds in this position, and then we come out of it. Next, we're going to go into a laying down glute stretch. So one leg is going to be bent out to the side, one leg is going to be kind of bent forwards, and you're going to push out on the knee which is bent up to the side with the hand, and then the other leg you're going to pull into the chest. Again, you should feel that stretching the outer glute of the leg that you're pressing out on the knee, and then you're going to change to the other side. So pressing out with the knee to the wall in front of you, and then the leg which is bent towards the chest, you're going to bring a little bit closer into the chest if you can. We're going to come out of that position, and next we're going to go into lunges. So bring your left foot forwards, again a right angle with the knee and the foot on the floor, and you're trying to push that back hip down to the ground. Make sure in this position you're maintaining really good posture, the chest is up. You might need to put your hands on the floor if your balance is not quite there, but if you can, try and bring the hands onto the knee. Then we're going to go into a reverse low lunge, so we're straightening the front leg, flexing the front foot, and the chest is coming down towards that front leg. Again, in all these lunge positions, make sure the hips are staying square, so they should be directly kind of forwards to the wall in front of you. And we're going to come into a reverse high lunge. This is where we're straightening both legs. Again, if you can, bring the chest down towards the front leg. And we're going to swap legs. So this time we're bringing the right leg in front of us, right angle with the knee and the foot on the floor out front, pushing the back hip down to the ground, chest is up, hands are resting on the floor or on your leg, and you've got good posture, good core. We're coming into our reverse low lunge, so we're straightening the front leg, flexing the front foot, the chest is coming down towards the front leg. And then we're coming into our reverse high lunge, straightening both legs. The chest is coming down towards the front leg. We're coming out of that position, and next we're going to go into a butterfly. So knees are going to come out to the side, drop out to the side, and depending on your ability, they might be quite high, or you can slowly kind of ease into the stretch and try and lower the knees down to the ground. If you are very flexible like me, then do bring the chest forwards and you're going to feel a bit more of a stretch, but the main priority is trying to get the knees down to the ground. If you're new to this stretch, don't apply too much pressure to the knees, just try and gently ease into the stretch. And this is a nice stretch that you could hold again for up to a minute. We're going to come out of that position, give your legs a little bit of a shake. And we're going to come into our cat-cows. So we're going to stretch out the back, lowering that lumbar spine down to the ground, lifting the thoracic spine up to the ceiling, and we're just going to move through that a couple of times. With each movement, try and get a little bit deeper into the stretch. Then we're going to drop onto our front and we're going to go into a cobra. So you get the option to go into a half cobra on the elbows or full cobra on the hands. I would go into a half cobra if you're new to doing back flexibility. Then we're going to go into a child's pose or reverse kind of cobra position, just to relax out the back, dropping the arms down to the ground, bring the chest into the knees. And we're going to repeat that. So into our half or our full cobra on the elbows, or a more advanced on the full arms. Try and drive the hips into the floor in this position and then driving the chest backwards. If you want a bit more of a stretch, keep the feet together. And then we're going to come into the reverse, the child's pose. So just focus on relaxing out that back. We're going to come back into a pike and we're going to actually focus on ankle mobility or calf mobility. So if you can, you're going to try and grab that foot. If you want to, because you can't quite keep the legs straight, then just have a slight bend in the knees. So you're trying to pull that foot back towards you, and you should feel a bit of a stretch in the calf. Alternatively, you can do this standing up with one foot flexed against the wall, and then both legs are straight and you'll bring your chest in towards the wall to get a bit of a calf stretch. Lastly, we're going to go back into a downward dog position, focusing on pushing the armpits to the wall behind you, the calves down to the floor. You're going to gently walk the hands in towards the feet, back into our pike fold stretch. Let the arms just kind of hang, slowly walking up the legs, curving of the spine, up to the ceiling, and then we're coming out that position and relax. Thank you so much for watching that little stretch video, and hopefully you joined in. I will see you for the next video. Bye!